we OG, or no G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Rooms is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the Ordinal Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing because we have Bitcoin sitting at 102, officially $102,000. That was a quick little jump up. Shout out to wow, it's flying right now, guys. Woo! Today is a good day. Today is an amazing day. Today is a Thursday. And we are rocking into the weekend. Hopefully we get to 104 today, which is the all-time high. Man, it just feels so good to be in a bull market. I'm finally getting that sense of feel, especially when you wake up and you check your portfolio. I don't remember doing that a month ago. I don't remember doing that, 2 months ago. But I'm doing it every now and then. I'm waking up, checking my portfolio. It could be that giant Magic Eden airdrop that we all got, but I mean, it's phenomenal, guys. We're just so lucky to be alive right now. So lucky to be in crypto. So lucky to be in Bitcoin right now. And I just think that we all have to be grateful for that, and just know we are not lucky. We are smart. And that's what people don't understand about us. We're smart enough to realize that there's something here. There's something amazing. This is Bitcoin has always been the diamond in the rough, and now it's kind of like it's being picked up and shown around now, and it's spectacular to see. But we all seen that years ago, and it's really cool to be recognized as front runners. But without further ado, you bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's
going on, man? 102,361.81, 326. What is going on, bro? What is going on? 400.
I mean, I told you yesterday and the day before that we might have sparked the Santa rally, right? And It seems to be the case, right? And then you and I were looking at the daily chart, which I'm going to get into during the Bitcoin price action, and it looks very, very primed for up only for about 2 weeks, right? So will there be a pullback from this? I don't think so. I think we're good above 100K until probably like the end of this year, but I could be completely wrong on that. That's just my feel and going off of some of the data that I'm seeing. So exciting times. It literally broke through that barrier as we were going live. So maybe we need to go live more often or something, and the price will just jump up. So
yeah, that was awesome. I looked over, I was like, we're at 101.9, and then I look over again, and We were at 102. It's really cool to see 102. I'm finally getting used to seeing the 100s. It takes a little time for your eyes to adjust, right? But now it's like it's real, baby. It's real.
Yes, sir.
Oh man. All right, all right. Let's kind of get into today's show. Not much news, but we definitely have a lot of topics to talk about. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis says America must win the Bitcoin race, and I think this is really important. Winning the Bitcoin race is really going to set your country aside for the next 50 years. I think winning the gold race was really important, and I think the U.S. has done that. I think we have more gold than any other nation. But how important is winning the Bitcoin race?
It's very important, right? It's like back in the early gold days, whenever countries were, every country started taking gold. It was very popular, right? People that immigrated to different countries would kind of, show what gold they brought over and stuff like that. So I think, we're in that phase, right? For this new kind of way of doing things in society, right? With asset value and Bitcoin being that first digital, token coin, right? And so it's exciting times, man. And the U.S., needs to get ahead of it. I love Senator Lummis. She's always been a Bitcoiner, backed Bitcoin the entire time, and has fought for the cause. So glad that she's kind of leading the charge there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see somebody in Congress and a U.S. senator like her really come forward and just be a proponent for Bitcoin. I mean, she was doing this since I want to say 2017, 2018. So it's nothing new. But now that if people are actually waking up and seeing that, hey, winning this race, being the country that holds the most Bitcoin, will be a big deal. It's going to be a monstrous deal, especially when you're backing it behind your currency.
Yes, sir. And I mean, Bitcoin's just getting really hyper aggressive right now. I love to see it.
Yeah.
Right. It tried to cross 102 yesterday, and it got rejected right at 102. So now it's kind of pushed through that barrier. So I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at that in the corner of my eye, and it's exciting because I truly do feel like we have sparked that Santa rally.
CoinDesk, mass batches of Bitcoin is leaving exchanges in tranches of 10 million or more as Bitcoin tries to sustain a 100K price and $2 trillion market cap. So obviously, Bitcoin being over $100,000 makes us a $2 trillion asset, but tens of millions of dollars are leaving exchanges. Dude, these exchanges do not have enough Bitcoin to begin with. And now I don't know where these Bitcoins are going. I tried to look into it a little bit, and I asked ChatGPT, and it did some research for me, and it said that a lot of these ETFs are having to buy off exchanges now because the OTC desk is like pretty close to empty as well. It's crazy what's about to happen.
Yeah, that and this is probably not a huge percentage of it, but people that are buying Bitcoin that have experience are taking it off centralized exchanges and self-custodying it, right?
Yeah.
You want to feel safe, and if you've been in the space, you want to self-custody your Bitcoin. So that could probably be a small sliver of the percentage, but yeah, it makes sense. The demand is so high. And it's not just one exchange, it's like all of them, right? So they're trying to figure out what to do here, but that's good for us. That's good for the people holding Bitcoin, because that's just gonna thrust that price even more up aggressive.
Yep. Best thing about Bitcoin too is like everyone who has like 0.9, 0.97, they're like they don't feel like they have a full Bitcoin, right? So it's like that's the problem with Bitcoin. It's going to get to a certain point where it's $1 million of Bitcoin, but they're still going to grab a whole one because they feel like they have to, right? And that they obviously know they don't have to, but it's just like you just don't want to grab a point something. You want to have that one in front of that, and I think that's what's happening here. Tens of thousands of Bitcoin are moving every day off exchanges, and it's phenomenal to see. BlackRock recommends a 2% Bitcoin allocation to clients, noting future returns may be challenging as it becomes a tactical asset like gold. So they're basically saying you got to get it now. 2%. I mean, BlackRock has, they play with the big boys, right? There's no one in there who has less than I think it's like 200 million in some of the funds. So 2% of those giant funds are going into Bitcoin because BlackRock is recommending that. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to point out to their, high-end clients is, look, in the beginning before gold launched this ETF and right when it did, you had time to, not necessarily have to use such large amounts of money to make significant gains. And we're kind of in that similar time period right now. So they're saying take advantage of this, because it's going to get to a point where Bitcoin's going to be way more stable in terms of price action. And that's where it's going to be hard, right? So he's just saying, hey, right now is the time to make the largest gains that you can, because eventually what's going to happen is the price is not going to move very much. And yeah, you could still make some significant gains, but you're going to have to put a lot up for it.
Yeah, 100%. But I think I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're wrong. I don't think Bitcoin ever gets like gold. I think Bitcoin will always be an asset that it moves a lot each day. And, only for the fact that it's going to get to a point where people are selling down gold to buy this asset. It might be 10, 15 years before gold becomes as stable as before Bitcoin becomes as stable as gold.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know how long that's going to take, right? But I think the biggest thing that you got to remember is that, these TradFi guys are here. They want a stable asset. So they're going to do everything they can to make Bitcoin stable. Because at the end of the day, BlackRock is more focused on making money off of their clients than they are of Bitcoin itself, right? Yeah, I'm sure they're going to have their holdings and stuff, but to them, it's that percentage gain that they get as commission, right? So they want that stable asset because they want to be able to suggest it and not have their clients freak out all the time.
Yeah, 100%. You don't want a client calling you like, it's down 6%. And for us, the 6% is like, it's a day. But for them, 6% is a nightmare, right? So
exactly.
All right, move along here. Hacker exploits Doge's flaw, crashing 69% of the nodes and exposing vulnerability that could have taken down the entire network. I didn't get a chance to really look into this, but I mean, from the outside looking in, this is really bad. Only because too, you have to remember, Litecoin, Doge, and Bells pretty much have the same code. What do you think about this? And is this something to kind of worry about?
Yeah, they're part of the UTXO script, code, and so look. I'm surprised it didn't actually affect the price even more. I mean, it's sitting at like 42 cents still. So, the Doge devs, they're pretty experienced, right? Like we talked to, Adam McBride about Doge and Bells and stuff. And I think they're pretty experienced. So they probably know what's happening. But again, like this was presented to them. So hopefully they just they button everything up. That's the most important thing. Get it buttoned up and secured, because that's one of the trade-offs, right? With Doge is they wanted it to be faster. So the security part was weaker. So
100%. But that can't happen on Bitcoin. So that's the best part. Only 0.5% of Microsoft shareholders voted in favor of the Bitcoin investment. Is this shocking to you? Is this
no?
It's kind of got me a little bit.
Well, more and more that I'm like learning about this, I feel like this was kind of a setup, a FUD, right? It's like the people that hate Bitcoin are actually the leaders of Microsoft, right? You have Bill Gates, he absolutely can't stand Bitcoin. He says it has no intrinsic value and all this blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like, was this a setup for kind of buying the rumor, kind of selling the news event? Well, it worked probably a little bit, but as you can see, Bitcoin's Q4 strength is strong enough to kind of persevere through that.
Yep. Yeah, man. I don't even know why we even thought this was even going to happen. Screw Microsoft. I hope Apple. How great would it be if Apple comes in and does buy it?
Well, Amazon, I think, is the one that's up next,
Amazon.
right?
Or even Apple.
Yeah.
I mean, there's rumors.
Yeah,
Apple
if they decided to, right? But I kind of go back to what you said. I probably would prefer if Nvidia would do it, right? Because they're just kind of aligned with the AI factor as well. But Amazon would be very welcome. But the PSYOP worked. It worked because it worked on everybody, right? Everybody was excited for that vote. But to your point, probably shouldn't have been, right? But Saylor was involved too, so there could have been a lot of psyoping happening in the back end, get people to sell and then buy later. So I think we probably should have just recognized that, Bill Gates is still has heavy influence there.
Saylor had to go to Seattle to give a 3-minute press conference, right? We should have known right then and there that was going to happen. You don't give a guy like Saylor 3 minutes. Right, you give him 15,
maybe Saylor wanted only 3 minutes.
No, dude, come on, Saylor loves to talk. He would have taken every minute that was given to him, especially when it comes to Bitcoin. So to me, that just shows that, you know, they said, hey, you got like 3 minutes. Like, but moving along here, AMP becomes the first major Australian super fund to invest in the crypto, allocating 27 million so this is Australia now getting in the game with a super fund. So what do you think about this? Not big news, but it's different because it's Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think it's gonna move the
Yeah,
needle very much, right? Like, there's some cool project founders that have come out of Australia. I think Illuvium's founders are from Australia,
yeah,
and there's a couple, good people in the space. But them as a country, I think they align very much with kind of the UK and that Western mentality of the CBDC and all that,
yeah.
right? IMF type of mentality. So to me, this is a nothing burger.
Yeah, makes sense. And then the last bit here, guys, there wasn't much news. I was begging with the Bitcoin news that I got here. Vancouver passes motion to become a Bitcoin-friendly city. Another Canadian city really kind of pushing forward. Another city in general be pushing forward. Probably going to add it to their books. But if every single city adds Bitcoin to their books here, it's pretty big. I mean, another one.
Yeah, yeah. And Canada typically follows what the US does. I know there's a little bit of,
Yeah,
friction between the US and Canada with the upcoming tariffs and stuff like that. But I think they still look at the US as a leader, right? So the US,
yeah.
onboards the masses here, then I think Canada follows. So,
Yeah, I mean, Canada's going to be the 51st state, so I mean, they might as well. Moving
oh, we
along
probably
here.
got some angry Canadians listening in on that.
Bitcoin, fear and greed. Last Thursday we were at 84. Yesterday we were at 74. I'm going to tell you we are in between there
Higher.
on the higher
Okay.
side. We're in extreme greed right
76.
now,
Oh,
which
no,
is
wait, no. 74 and 84. So I would say 81.
pretty close. 83. So good
Okay.
for you, my friend. And I am not sharing my screen here. Let me do this real quick. 81, 83, 83. Yep.
All right. All
All
right.
right.
Close enough. Close enough.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right, let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you by BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be the leading leverage trading platform in the entire Bitcoin ecosystem right now. Their Botonics testnet launch has been delayed a little bit, but they're going to be pushing it as soon as possible. This is going to be big, guys, because you're going to be able to trade paper trade. You're not going to have to use real money, and it's very incentivized with some BTP, which is going to be their native token. We're excited for them because they're really taking the narrative of Bitcoin memes. You're going to be able to take leverage on Mr. Yen and many other low cap leverage plays, which is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be different. So you're definitely going to have to get adjusted to that. But BitPerp's giving us the opportunity to really go after the Bitcoin ecosystem in ways of leverage and and trading. Period. So look out for them. Look out for the paper trading contests and everything that BitPerp is bringing.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action, if you're watching on the YouTube side, please smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, hit that like and share the space, guys. It would help us tremendously. So we appreciate that support. Let's jump into the Bitcoin price action. Just to follow up on what your announcement was, so the paper trading competition is targeted for next week. So hopefully that
Yeah.
gets up and running by next Monday. There's something to do with the faucet on the Botonic side, but the 10,000 USDT prize money is definitely very enticing, as well as the 50,000 BTP. So make sure you're ready for that, and we'll let you know once it is live again. But taking a look at Bitcoin's price action on the hour chart, right? A bunch of uptrend here starting from the 10th 2 days ago, right? With just a little bit of pullbacks, right? So, this bullish sentiment and, price action is making me think the Santa rally sparked. Typically it doesn't get going until right in the middle, maybe towards the end of that, like second week. I would say probably beginning of the third week
Yeah.
of December, but you got to get going. And I think that's what we're doing right now. So it's very, very exciting. You can see here on the MACD, it's closing up. We are coming out of sell pressure on the MACD, which is really, really good. You can see we bounced out of oversold in the stochastics. We haven't reached overbought yet. So I think we still have some room here. There is a new level of resistance that we seem to hit right at like 102,500, but we blew past the last one, which is 101,900. So, I'm expecting more bullish sentiment, but maybe not anything like blowing past to the new all-time high today. As long as we don't pull back and go below 100,000, I think today might be our last, sell pressure day on the daily chart, which I'm about to get into. So second half of today, possibly bullishness getting back to 103, playing around a little bit above that, possibly ranging back to 102, mid 102s, possibly even seeing like high 101s again. As long as we don't have a continuation of that sell-off is what I'm really looking forward to. And then, so that's what I see for the second half of today. On the 8-hour chart, also kind of closing that up, which is good. Just things look really, really bullish as well here. This gives us a 7-day outlook, right? So this will lead right into that Sansa rally. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for the 8-hour. I really want to jump to this chart, which is the daily chart. This is what I think we need to get bullish on here. You can see the daily chart is starting to close up the sell pressure for the MACD, starting to get closer. So if we have one more day that is either a green candle day or just not getting, a continuation of sell down, I think we can have our last, a red kind of lightish red, white, sell pressure candle on the MACD, close this up, and then we start something like this, which is amazing. You can see what happens when the buy pressure starts in Q4. This was November 4th, and then going from November 4th all the way to November 11th was up only, guys, and it looks very similar to the start of this, right? You can see right here, small candle right here with a elongated candle. It's just opposite, right? So I think what we could maybe expect here is something like maybe a small candle, and then ready for our next big one, right? So that's why, another reason why I feel like we have sparked this Santa rally. Looking here, this was the level of resistance that we just had, and it was at 102.477. We actually blew past that, so we can move this up here now, kind of that wick up there. So this is why I wouldn't be too shocked if we do get to 103. This is the 5-minute chart, so something a little bit more degenerate here, but I always have to look at every kind of time frame, right? So I can see what's happening now, what I'm expecting for the second half of the day, what am I expecting for next week. But guys, I am expecting us to kind of flow right into that Santa rally. It's good times, exciting times to be alive, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm definitely excited to see what happens over the course of the next 6 hours until we see the market close. I think that is going to be a huge indicator what happens around 4 p.m. Eastern time today as market closes, because if we could have upward momentum all day, that would really push the momentum of the entire space up. Alts, runes, ordinals, it's going to be fun.
Yep. One thing I will say though, if we, things can be continually be bullish, but remember, market makers are always, they don't want to get beat too bad. So just be careful, even if we jump to 104 today, that new all-time high, there's always going to be some sort of correction because someone's getting into a long at 104 because they're inexperienced and they just feel like it's going to continually go up. So just that, bit of warning. None of this is financial advice, but wanted to put that in there.
100%. All right, let's get into that roll call. Let's see who is here today. First is first. We got our mod, Asher. Congratulations, Asher. You win today. You are number one, my friend. Thank you so much for being here every single day. Appreciate you, my friend. I got my man, Chief Axel. Man, I keep forgetting to make you a mod. I'm going to do it right now because I love Chief Axel. And I can only do it for some reason when I'm live because I can't find you. So add as moderator, managing moderator. Save. You are now officially a mod. Thank you so much.
Congrats, sir.
So thank you, Chief. Number 3, Mr. Hanky, the Christmas Poo. He loves me and I love you. Shout out to Mr. Hanky. Glass Hopper is here. Danny Boy, D Blocks is in the building. Another one of our mods. Tim Baker, AOD Art is here. Webdro is in the building. Lackey Lukey, Ordinals Tweets, and Ordinals Chips, the twins, the brothers of destruction. Shout out to you, my friend. Mempool Punk is here. Anagi, shout out to you every single day. Anagi, really appreciate you. We got my man No is in the building. Shout out to No with his Nuki. Shout out to the Nuki. Shout out to No. Chota is here, and then we got Cheaty. We were just talking about you, my friend. You're awesome as always. We're gonna do some trading indicators for you, and only you, Cheaty, is directly for you. No, I'm just kidding. But shout out to Cheaty. Chain Watchers here. Shout out to Chain Watcher every single day. ASAP Benji, my guy. Shout out to you. Then we have Kai Effect is here. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. We got Cyber Rida. I walk alone with a really awesome. He said the numbers of likes should match the number of watchers. Come on, smash that like button. Shout out to I Walk Alone, man. Really always helping us out. We got Mark from Launch Punk. Shout out to Mark. Says when BTC 1 million. Red finger number 1. Let's go. And then we have Mike Bennett is here. Luck says, what do you guys think of Dog on BTC? Will it go to market cap wise? I think it gets between 3 and 6 billion in the next couple of months. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's really hard to tell, right? I think like getting past the I think it gets past 1.5 billion by May, by that time frame. And then maybe to that 3 billion mark in Q4 of next year if we have that super cycle, right? Maybe higher. It depends on how I think it depends on how the public reacts to Bitcoin meme coins being mainstream, because they're not mainstream yet, and I think we're going to need some assistance from like centralized exchanges to help get those mainstream. But once they go mainstream, like someone in that doesn't know much about it, and they're like, oh, I want to get into a Bitcoin meme coin, then I think that's whenever the market caps can really be hyper aggressive. But we need a little bit of that push.
1.5 by May? Like, come on, man. That's nowhere near bullish enough.
Maybe
dude.
more.
Way more than that. I mean, exchange, we're going to 2 billion tomorrow.
Okay, so like whenever it was 900 million back in, I don't know, May of this year, did you not think it would have passed $1 billion before? Like, we're still not like on Magic Eden.
You got to think of the time frame, dude. We're about to enter the most bullish part of the cycle, and you're saying it's only going up 40%.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I need this thing to pass the $1 billion market cap first, and then I'll feel like I'll get. I know it's going to.
5 months of $500 million. Come on, man. That was bad. That was bad.
1.5 billion is I think that's until it passes it, right? Because like if it's at 3 billion, let's say you said 2 months, by the way, so you're saying 3 billion by February, beginning of February.
Yeah. I think we get to 2 billion this month.
We'll see. All right, we'll see. This month before the end of this year? Okay. Yeah. We'll see. If there is a hyper aggressive Santa rally in our ecosystem, yeah, it'll blow past 1.5, but let's see. Let's just see.
Yeah.
I'm a guy that's like kind of like Adam McBride. Like, show me, bro.
I mean, dude, it's only $500 million on $1 billion asset.
True.
It's 50%.
True.
Like,
but it's also getting a lot of attention taken away from BRC20s recently in terms of volume. So
not in the West, only in the East.
No, total volume.
Yeah. But that's the thing too. Total volume. I mean, you have to remember it's on Binance. Doll's getting listed on Binance. We both know that. It's just a matter of time. So
yeah, but that might not be until December, February.
January. I mean, that's still 2 billion as soon as it does, easily.
Yeah,
and we'll see what happens. Mike Bennett is here. Exactly. Bill Gates is public about his likes on Bitcoin. Yeah, 100%. Crypto Mona is here. Shout out to you. It's been a little while since I said your name in roll call. And then we got Austin Gray. Shout out to every single one of you guys who makes roll call every single day. Appreciate you guys. All right. All right, here we go. Here's the topic of the day. Did the Bitcoin Santa rally just kick off? When do runes join in? And Arch Thursday. That shouldn't have been there. But what do you think? I took the title without taking out that part. But what do you think?
Yeah,
so rally has just kicked in.
Yeah, I think we sparked it. Like I said earlier, I think we've sparked it. As long as we can maintain above 100K, I think the next couple days, then that was the spark, in my opinion. We're starting to see a little bit of a pullback, but we're still above 102 right now, right? So that's nothing. So yes, I think we've sparked it. So it has started. The rune side is definitely delayed, though. Everything is just not really running like I thought it would. But hey, this might be like a second half of December thing, right? Right now, you're looking at Dog on Magic Eden at 955 million. I just would expect that to be past $1 billion already. But hey, only 45 million. That's it. Like, why can't we push past that? It's crazy. Like, why can't it happen? It's wild. And then you see $1 billion cat was at like 94 million not long ago, but it's come back over 100 million. So a lot of these haven't run, not even like really aggressively. I will say Dog did come back though, because 2 days ago it was at 800 million. So we'll see, man. I'm really hoping to get like a runes boom, runes and ordinals.
Yeah, man, 100%. I agree. Yesterday I was watching my man Crypto Man Ran. He was on the he has a show every single day. I usually watch him at night. His show's usually around right before our show, so I'm usually doing prep stuff. But Crypto Panther puts runes in the must-own list. So he named 6 categories last night that are must-own. It was your normal things of AI agents, your normal things of crypto gaming and stuff like that. But runes was on there. Runes was actually 5 on that list of 6, and he named 3 runes. He named Dog, Pups, and Gizmo. Gizmo was the only one that was shocking, and the fact that he didn't name BDC was a little weird to me, it being the third biggest one. What do you think about this? I mean, Rand had, when I was watching, he had over 13,000 likes. I mean, that's likes.
Yeah.
Because it happened later in the day. Because I wasn't able to see the live viewership, but I mean, for him and Crypto Banter to say this is huge. But I want to say Ordinals Bot is a sponsor of theirs. So it says Ordinal Bots on the screen during when he was talking about runes. So what do you think about this? And do you think he should have said BDC over Gizmo?
Yeah, I think he should have said BDC over Gizmo, but maybe he got into Gizmo, earlier. It's still at like the 40 million, so there's a lot of upside there. This isn't the first time that Rand has talked about Bitcoin Layer 1 assets. During I think the last BRC20 pump, he was talking about Ordi and Sats, right? So he's talked about Bitcoin Layer 1 assets, right? But this is the first time I think he's talked about Dog of the Moon too before, but like this was pretty clear, that he's getting more bullish on it. Again, though, like even someone like Crypto Banter with Rand, like we need more than that. We need a centralized exchange to really push the narrative of Bitcoin meme coins for these to go ballistic, and then people buy them like they were buying Doge back in 2020. So that's my thoughts on it.
Well, one thing I did see in the chat, because it's you still see the live chat as it's going on, even if you're watching the replay, was where can I buy Dog? Where can I buy these runes? Where can I buy runes? Where can I buy runes? No one knows where to buy them. These guys who watch Rain are I call them level 1 crypto users, right? They're the exchange buyers. They're the people who just buy on exchange. They have no interest in withdrawing it. They leave it there until it's time to sell. They see it as safe. They see it as E-Trade type of thing where they just don't take it off. And a lot of them still can't buy a lot of these assets. I mean, where can you what top exchange has them? None. But I think that changes in the next couple months or month with Kraken and potentially Binance.
Yeah, I really do think that is what is going to kick the Bitcoin fungible token space off. Is gonna have to have some, like, as much as Leo said, we've gotten to 999 million without any help of tier 1 centralized exchanges. Sure, and that's a big accomplishment. Congratulations to you, and I commend you for that, because you've done a lot of hard work with it. So congratulations, Leo, on getting there. But for it to be a top meme coin market cap, it needs to be adopted by Coinbase, by Binance. That it needs to be the hot narrative heading into spring, the end of Q1. And if that happens, then Dog can go absolutely crazy, in my opinion. That's what's going to tip off like the entire Bitcoin fungible token ecosystem. And then because Arch can follow up with that too. So the more experienced DeFi guys that aren't like level 1, they'll say, okay, I'm just going to go to Saturn and buy it because there's liquidity pools there now.
Yeah. I mean, you can already do that with Dog now with DotSwap and Odin, and you can just buy with your Exodus wallet that way, and Merlin as well, right? So there is already liquidity pools that are in place, centralized, except for Merlin, which is DeFi. But yeah, I definitely see I definitely see this happening way sooner than the end of Q1. I think it happens either beginning of Q1 or the end of Q4 here. I mean, it has to happen. It has to. There's just too much money that's being lost, but from them not adding it. Like they see the fees are going to be insane for it.
Yeah, I agree. And all, like the community for the strong ones, the top 3, they're not going anywhere. So I don't know why like somebody like Coinbase or Binance has a little bit of skin in the game with the BRC20s and Ordi and Sat. So I understand them more than anybody. But in terms of Coinbase or, Kraken or these other ones, OKX, it makes no sense to not list these because they have solid foundations. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to rug anybody.
Yeah.
They're not going to zero. And like right now, without any of the major exchanges, Dog is doing about $160 million of total volume daily. And so they're missing out on, like somebody like Coinbase could do that themselves. And earn those fees. So I think eventually it becomes like a no-brainer that it gets added, but I just can't wait till that happens. Like, I think we're all anticipating that.
I think it needs to happen soon. Okay, it should happen very, very soon. But let's move along here. You already mentioned this kind of, but we'll kind of hit on one last time. The number one rune Dog just achieved a new all-time high of $999 million, very short of $1 billion. Leo went live as soon as this happened. 1 billion can happen without an exchange. Does 1 billion happen in the next couple days?
It should. Like, there's no reason why it hasn't. Like, I'm just very, very like confused as to why Dog has not passed 1 billion. It's been at like 920, 930, 940, 950. I think it's gone all the way to like 980, like on Magic Eden. So I'm looking at Magic Eden, and so this 999 million is from a centralized exchange. I think it was L Bank or something like that, maybe Mexi. But on Magic Eden itself, it should has passed that already. So I'm just a little bit confused as to why it hasn't. But obviously once it does, maybe it opens the floodgates and it gets to like 1.2 or whatever. But we'll see.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's kind of get into Orbit. The wait is over. The Cat 721 marketplace is now live. Something we talked about yesterday. So I was exploring this morning. It looks really good. I do like the way it looks, the way it feels. It's nice. Orbit was, I didn't even know they were a marketplace. But you can see Locked Up Cats, which is the number one. And let's kind of see what the market price is. $60 or 12.39 FB. A pretty conservative price. What do you think about Locked Up Cats? What do you think about this fractal Cat 721 market? Finally alive. It's finally seeing the light of day.
Yeah, it's interesting because it does have like a very niche audience in market right now. As of right now, only the people that know about Cat 20, Cat 721 are participating in this, right? And so I think that narrative and marketing for that narrative needs to be more aggressive for this to really have a strong foundation. I think it does continue on, right? And what depends on its success is how, I guess, much education and marketing they can get out from this. Because Cat 20 has been around for a while. Cat 21's been talked about for a while, but who else is participating other than the small group of people that follows, the BSV type people and then Fractal, right? So I think it still has a lot of room to grow, but if they don't market this correctly, they might be stagnant.
Yeah, I just think it's such early days, right? I see Fractal right now as like July for runes, right? It was just so early. And I feel like they need 3 more months to kind of bottom out, but this is a really good progression. And to me, we didn't have a Cat 721 marketplace until today, right? So this is just kind of just the beginning for Fractal to kind of really kind of push out their narrative of these cat tokens, these op cat tokens. You can't have this stuff on Bitcoin, right? So the inscriptions doesn't seem to be very popular over there because there's no inscription collection that's going for anything. But for this to come out, pretty high, the comparison of 12 FB for 10,000 collection, I mean, that's pretty big for Locked Up Cats. I just think that this is part of the progression. Will it be good in the future? I have no idea. But it's cool to see the upward momentum here, at least with these Cat 721 NFTs.
This is a start. They launched it, and now it's to push out the information and education to more people.
100%. Let's move on to the next thing here. The BitBoy. Power up your BitBoy with Unisat wallet. Now fully integrated into the console. Safely store and manage your Bitcoin Ordinals and inscriptions all in one place. So the BitBoys are finally out. I seen that Block, Hype, and OSD guys were receiving their BitBoy at an early Christmas present. But there's a wallet inside, a Unisat wallet where you can actually store your assets in your Bitcoin wallet. So this is kind of cool. It's kind of like works kind of like a hardware wallet in the sense because it's you don't have to connect it to the internet or anything like that. But it's pretty cool. What do you think about the BitBoy finally out there now and in the wild? And Unisat Wild is installed.
Yeah, I think it's cool. You know, was it like OG or was it Ord Games? Was it
Yeah.
Ord Games that was the creator of this, right? So I think it's cool they released a tangible physical product, right? And I like the fact that it acts like a ledger, right? Like a hardware wallet. And you supposedly can mine some Bitcoin. I don't know how much you can mine, probably very, very minimal amount, but the fact that you can even do it and it runs that SHA-256 kind of algorithm and stuff is really awesome, actually.
100%. Yeah, man. I think it's really cool that you I don't know. It's just I just can't imagine sitting there playing it like and then having the wallet in there. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I was never really bullish on the BitBoy, but I mean, it's another way to keep your assets safe at the end of the day. So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's kind of get into one Pudgy Penguin is now worth more than 1 Bitcoin. Over 100,000. We were checking this morning, but Ethereum NFTs are flying. Are Ordinals next? Are Ordinals going to pop next? Let me show my screen here. When the Ethereum stuff pops up. Okay, so we have the Pudgy Penguins at 26 ETH. We did the math earlier. It's a little over 100K. Azukis are at 8 ETH. Little Pudgies are at 2.9. What do you think about ETH NFTs? And they're really kind of pushing 37% for the Azukis, 14% for the Mutant Apes. What do you think?
I think there was a lot of pent up demand for ETH NFTs. You know, there was a lot of people just, you know, crapping on them. And look, was it deserved? I don't know if it was, but a lot of people got hurt by them buying at the top of the last NFT cycle and then holding or, you know, thinking that they're going to bounce back. But I'll say out of all those groups, you know, Pudgy's probably earned that spot in that floor more than anybody because Luca, which is the founder, man, like he's doing all types of crazy stuff. And yes, ETH took a loss because they launched their token on Solana, but the NFT collection remains on ETH, right? So that's a big win for them because, you know, it's continually going up now. Do I think Ordinals is coming? Yes, I do. Because I think no matter if like the people that are holding these, they're ETH people, but they're also money people, right? They want to make money. So what I actually expect to happen is there's gonna be a decent amount of percentage of those people that take their profits and they throw them into Ordinals and then they make their money again, right? So it'll cycle into Ordinals is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely see, you know, the puppets being the #1 collection over here. That's kind of our, you know, basically our Pudgy Penguins in the sense. If you want to call it the No Monkeys, kind of like the, you know, the crypto, you know, crypto punks. The puppets are in between, you know, the monk. What is it? The Bored Apes and the Pudgy Penguins. I think the Pudgy Penguins have actually passed the Bored Apes now, right? In the top project.
I don't know if they've passed them yet, but they've got a lot of momentum, man. Like, but the apes are starting to pick their momentum back up too. Like regular apes are coming back up. I had a buddy that, you know, was not actively in the space all the time, but like he's, you know, a smart guy and he was in last cycle. He traded his mutants for a regular ape and because he just knew that it was gonna go up. And so, you know, look, the ETH NFT ecosystem is making a rebound right now, right? So how long does this, you know, continue on for? I don't know, but if Pudgy Penguin's floor is 100K, that's a solid floor. And again, they've earned it, right? But when does Doodles kind of start to? Well, they're up 52%. Goodness, like so they're definitely making a rebound here. Ordinals, on the other hand, are kind of they're down, you know. So it's like, you know, all the you know, time ignoring ETH NFTs the past year and a half, as a lot of that focus has been on Ordinals. Really, it's been the only digital art sector that has been on fire over and over. And so I think ETH has all this pent up demand, and then they're going to make a lot of money from that, and then they're going to bring it over to Ordinals is what I'm thinking, but who knows? Maybe, you know, I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, to your point here, Bored Ape Yacht Club is 19 ETH, while the Pudgies is 26. I don't know the exact count. Is Pudgies a 10K collection?
I think they are.
Yeah.
If you click on it, it shows it.
Wait, it didn't, which was weird to me.
Oh, really? There's no supply there? Interesting. Yep, it's right there. It should be there. Huh. Yeah, I guess not, huh? That's weird.
It is really weird. But yeah, so I mean, you see the apes at 19 ETH and the Pudgy Penguins being 26. So the Pudgies have actually taken that second spot now behind the CryptoPunks. So, if you got the monkeys, kind of like the CryptoPunks, because it has that, that lore. The puppets, man, they're really holding on to that top spot. What do you
Yeah.
think these ETH guys come over here and buy?
Puppets is
Yeah,
one that a lot of people from other ecosystems came over originally, brought them over to Ordinals, like a lot of Solana guys, a
yeah,
lot of ETH guys. Node Monks had a lot of ETH guys too come over, so I think those two are going to be like highly sought after. Once people have made their profit from their penguins, their bored
yeah,
apes, their all that stuff, once they're satisfied, and they're going to flip, because this is a really good thing though, because
yeah,
before it was really, ETH was king of the digital art, industry, and then Solana kind of was up there as well, but not really competed with them. Now you got Bitcoin Ordinals and ETH, which really can compete with each other, really compete, like actually compete, and
yeah.
so this is a thing to where they can now kind of, once they're done with this bucket, kind of flow into that bucket, and it helps each other's ecosystem. Obviously, you don't want just PvP all the time, but this could help the Ordinal ecosystem too, because it's like now more ETH people, more Solana people will start trading Ordinals.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot more Node Monkey PFPs. I don't really remember seeing that a couple months ago. Are you seeing that as well? Are you seeing more users like kind of put their we see a lot of puppets, but I have never really seen a lot of Node Monkeys until now.
Not a lot of no monkeys. What? Sorry, I missed
Like
that.
PFPs.
Yeah, you see a lot more puppets, a lot more
Yeah.
puppet PFPs than node monks. I mean, node monks are there, obviously, but would you say they're number two in a like abundance of PFPs? Frogs used to
No.
be dominating.
Yeah.
That's gone
I
down, right?
I see a lot more OMBs. It's OMB to me. It seems to be the number one PFP that I see, and I see puppets. I don't really see no monkeys. You see some ninjas, pizza ninjas as well. Oh,
Yeah.
these are cheap. 1.3. I remember these were at like
I
4.4
think
at
I
one
see
point.
more puppets myself, but it's
Yeah,
probably neck and neck with OMBs.
yeah, man. But you definitely see OMBs as much as I do. I see a lot of
I do see
OMBs.
them. Yeah, I do see them quite often, actually.
You think OMBs has a comeback? Could these be like the CryptoPunks eventually? Do you see like a lot? Because we are hearing rumors that there's white eyes that are coming, and that'll take this collection to 10K.
So the background is black.
I'm guessing.
Because the white eyes would only show if the background were black.
Mhm.
So, do I think they make a comeback? Yeah, I do. ZK Shark is a, um, really good marketer, and he's curated a pretty solid community. And I just think they've all taken their foot off of the gas
Yeah,
pedal until they feel like they need to bring it back on. And when they do, they all know how to do it. So,
yeah,
all the ones that have that kind of strong leadership, whether Raktoshi is still kind of leading the node monks or he's doing it behind the scenes, whatever, it doesn't matter. It works. That will happen. The OMBs will get pushed, and then the puppets, obviously, with Farmer Joe and that whole group, all three of those will get pushed. The frogs, they've kind of lost that push behind with the community, but we'll see if they'll just be that old original first 10K popular asset that pushed off of the name. We'll see.
yeah,
But I think a lot of these collections will do well during the bull run of the the art time.
yeah, man. If I gave you $20,000 and said you have to buy one of these, which one are you buying?
Oh man, I know I would buy a Node Monk, even though it's cheaper right
Still over
now.
the puppet?
Yeah, I mean it's gone to 0.85. Puppets have not gone to 0.85.
Yeah,
So I look, and history doesn't mean future, so I could be wrong
yeah,
on it, but I do have a bias towards layers of value because I'm a collector in terms of
yeah,
tangible collections and stuff like that. And so to me, the layer of value part of Ordinals, it can't be beat right now. There's nothing that can top that. But it's also not what people care about right now. So
yeah,
once people do care about it and they've made a lot of money, that's when I think it thrives. Your cursed Ordinals, your early inscription Ordinals, that's when I think it thrives. But it probably will be ignored in the beginning.
yeah. Makes sense. I'm grabbing a puppet. I just think the puppets are just head and shoulders above everything else here. Just for the sense of the community. There's just so much community aspect of the puppets. Having a puppet is now. I remember before it was looked at, oh, well, this guy's a puppet. Now it's looked like, oh crap. Like when we had Scott on from Bound. You guys, we're gonna have him on later again today for Arch Thursday. But he has a puppet PFP, and I was like, oh wow, this guy has a puppet. And I caught myself for a second. I was just like, I just judged him on being a puppet, right? So when I think about the puppet community, I feel like they're degen. They're very rich these days because if you're rocking a $17,000 PFP of something you own, I mean that's a lot of money wrapped up in one asset.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I definitely caught myself judging him a little bit on the sense of having a puppet. I mean, it's all good things. When you judge someone, you can judge them good and bad. For that sense, I judged them on the sense of, wow, this dude, he's one of us. You know what I mean? He's a part of the ecosystem. And I don't say that with many other, PFP collections. Like if I see like a OMB, I would say that. If I see a No Monkey, I would say that. And if I see a puppet, but not if I see someone with a, let's just say a Lobo or something. You just don't, you kind of judge them on. It's kind of like they show up in a Rolls Royce or a Nissan, right? It's like, oh shit, like this guy's rolling out here. So. Balling out. Yeah. Puppets are considered balling out these days. What do you think about that?
I mean, they are, but like when you can, like, let's think about like the last like Ordinals run. Let's say that was like the end of Q1 this year, which that's whenever Node Monks got to 0.85, which at the time I think it was like 55 grand or something like that, almost 60 grand. Sure. But now the top 10K floor price is what, 17,000. So it's just dropped a lot, and now like it has flipped over to Ethereum, because I remember like Pudgy Penguins back then was not anywhere close to where it is now at 100,000. So it's very interesting because it makes me even more bullish on Ordinals for once it's time for them. But they need to catch up right now, because before there was still CryptoPunks that was higher floor and stuff like that. But then if you want to go with like certain collections over here, like shrooms and rocks are like higher too, right? So it's just the Ordinal space needs to really kind of get going, and it will. It always does it on its own time, right? And so it's exciting to see what the floors could be of these blue chips.
It's hard to throw shrooms and rocks in though, because they're such small collections. Right, like I don't consider the ETH rocks anything. I wouldn't, if you're rocking one of those, you're rich. But if you're rocking a shroom, you're rich. That's showing up in that, in that Lamborghini. I mean, when you show up with a shroom PFP, or
and you probably won't be able to flip that though until like collectors.
That's the problem. Yeah, if you think you can get 2 Bitcoin for that right now, I mean, yeah, it might say it's worth that, but let me see you try. You're gonna have to really jump that down. With a puppet, you can list a puppet right now for 0.16, and I'm sure it will sell right away. I'm sure you can probably go in here. I mean, 0.165, you can get it right now instant if you have a puppet. So that's $16,500. Pretty wild. Moving along, let's kind of take a look at the runes. We got 8 more minutes. Is there anything you're sitting here and you're looking at this to say you have a bucket of Bitcoin on the sideline there? Are you seeing anything that maybe you want to jump in? I mean, a lot of these are a lot of red, bro. There's a lot of red. What am I on? I'm on the 1 day. A lot of red on the 1 day.
Yeah, I might would drop some into Cypher Genesis, just because I know that probably a pretty safe. Well, it's probably a pretty safe 3x, I would imagine, right? So something like that. The holder count's growing with it. Gizmo probably be a 2x, right? So maybe consider Gizmo. $1 billion cat, I think, easily gets to past 200 million this next run up. It got to 155 before, so there should be no issue there. Really, those are the ones right now. If I have bigger amounts that I'm able to kind of utilize for capital, I'd probably be able to throw like 50 grand into like Doggo to the Moon, because that's going to probably 3x. Stuff like that, the safer stuff. Now the more risky stuff, again, like you got to do your research on that. Who launched it? Do you know anything about it? And then also on a lot of those, you got to get in and get out of those, because you could get to 10 million and then the next day it's at like $80,000 market cap, right? So that's where it's risky and sometimes scary. So Bitcoin Bro Bear might move. You got some crazy people like Kook that's behind that, trying to push it.
Kook's behind that? Oh wow, I guess maybe a little bullish.
I don't know if he's behind it. He's pushing it though, for sure. and then Liquidium as a utility token at 23 million,
Yeah.
still cheap, right? Really cheap. That Mark's friend monkey is probably the if I had to choose one riskiest play for me, it'd be that one. It is an AI
1.2.
play. Yeah, 1.2 million. It is an AI play. There's 1,100 holders, so this is something that could maybe jump up to like 5 to 10, and then get out. Right, like you got to be very careful. Is my mentality with that. But that's probably one of the risky ones I would look at.
Yeah. What about Lobo? Do you like Lobo at all? Yeah, they had their launch yesterday, their PFP collection. Very successful. Very successful. Also, it's still yet to get under mint price. What do you think about Lobo the Wolf Pup and potentially being a top 5 rune?
I don't know about top 5, but
I mean, it's
those
close.
guys. Those guys, what do you mean in terms of volume?
Market cap.
It's 27 million. That's top 5. That's so low. Oh my god.
Think about the top 5, right? You have Dog.
Yeah.
You have BDC. You have Pups in the 2 spot, BDC in the 3rd spot. And then I mean, what Gizmo?
R6.
And then R6
Well, you have
60
R6.
million. So it's
Yeah.
like 6 or 7 in market cap.
Yeah, but I feel like it's
a
I feel like it's a slow gainer though, right? When you watch it, could it double? Sure. Will it double? Probably. If Dog is at 1.5 billion, then I imagine Lobo would be past 50 million. But it doesn't seem like it ever gets super hyper aggressive. But the one thing you can count on is that it's not going anywhere because these guys, Buoyant Capital, they're releasing projects, they're doing all types of being involved, and that's a good sign. So that's where the safety probably comes with this. But again, with anything, in the space, you got to be very careful. But it's too slow for me in terms of maybe 2xing on it. But again, there is some sort of derivative to Dog Go to the Moon because they launched it, and it was the people that supported Dog in terms of financing the Runestone airdrop and stuff. So
yeah, I see it a little differently. I see this is definitely a 10x. Not financial advice whatever, but I feel like this is easily a 10x. When Dog really hits the exchanges, right? Because we both know Dog's going to exchange, they're gonna be looking at what's next. And looking at a team like Buoyant Capital, looking at Lobo, the exchanges like safe, right? They definitely like safe. So looking at Lobo could be a sleeper to get listed very quickly after Dog. Because of that safety factor. And if Lobo does get listed, this is easily a 10x in my opinion. Off a listing.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, there's going to be a lot of opportunities in runes probably once Dog gets listed on the tier 1.
Yeah.
But we just need to kind of wait and see how that plays out, right?
Yeah,
we'll see.
Rand really got me yesterday when he was talking about the runes because I mean, there's not many names that should jump out at you when you're looking at what should I invest in. I mean, there's Dog, obviously, right? Number 1, $1 billion cat. He didn't name it, but I think he should have. Pups again. I mean, it's going to be something here forever. Gizmo is something that he named, and then you start looking like what else could people be buying here? Lobo's definitely something that jumped at me. R6 is definitely something that jumped at me. Mento Memore is another one because again, when these exchanges start listing runes, they're going to want to list a couple of these runes at the same time, I think, back to back to back, because they're going to have the infrastructure, they're going to have the indexers ready to go. And this thing at $14 million market cap dropped by Casey to his followers, right? His cabal, as you would say. I mean, this is something else that could potentially get listed on an exchange.
Maybe. The Patreon subscribers benefited from that for sure, and it's hanging around 15 million. That one I called to a T how it would play out.
Yeah.
I said it will. It's getting a lot of hype right now, but it's going to fade, but not fade completely away, and just kind of show life. But eventually, and it will have different moments where it thrusts up. But let's get into some of these questions before Arch shows up here. Renstorm Music says, how do you guys trade runes? Do you buy and list, or do you hodl? I hodl. Sometimes I'll try to get into something quick and flip for the risky ones, right? But the other ones I hold them. And I think a lot of Bitcoin assets that's the mentality of them. But what about you, Shizzy?
Yeah, I don't like listing until I'm ready to sell. Because like I've done that before. For instance, with the BRC20 honk. I did that. I listed it way too low. For me, it was still like a good 4 or 5x. But when it got listed, when Unisat came out and said it'll be in the swap, and we were all really excited for the swap back then. It did like a 10x, 15x, 20x. You remember that day? I had all my honk listed, and it all got pulled up. So I kind of learned that lesson. I don't let that happen to me again. Let's just say I do buy Lobo and I do list it, and then something happens where the exchange comes out and that exchange, says, "Hey, we're listing Lobo." All that Lobo I could lose, right? And because I'm not thinking about the exchange, and like it all gets bought up, and now I don't have anything. And that's what happened to me. Yeah, I did make a 4 or 5x on it, but I missed out on tons more X's. I think you 100x honk at one point. So that was one of the ones.
Yeah, I don't remember what the X was on it because I minted honk. I don't remember how many I minted. I think I had like 11 mints on it, but it was definitely a come up. I remember we were live we were recording when I saw honk shoot up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
all my listings got bought up, dude. I'll never do that.
That was
again.
A good feeling. Well, I mean,
just
like,
be careful when you're
it does. So I hate that mentality, but it's like I get where you're coming from. You're like, oh man, like I could have made this, but I only made.
I want to control my destiny. Basically, I don't want to be.
You can't always do that though.
Well, I can control it when I don't have it listed. You know what I mean? Like I want to be. We were recording, so my hands were kind of tied. I didn't have time to. Even if you said, "Yo, this happened," I wouldn't have time to go on list. So I like to just if I do list on, maybe list it a little bit. But like I felt so like my hands were so tied at that point. There's nothing I could do. You know what I mean? I felt like I robbed myself by listing. I understand what you're saying, but you don't have to list to sell at a certain price. You can list when you're ready.
I'm not even talking about the listing part. I'm talking about more of like the mentality of, I could have had 100x. I could have had a 200x or whatever, but instead I only had like an 8x and I lost money. But, a lot of people would be that is actually certain people's like game plan is to constantly 5, 10x, and then they make millions of dollars doing that, but they're just consistent with it.
I guess the problem was listing it all, listing everything I had. Right now, I would have been happy with listing a little bit. I think that's just kind of a lesson learned for me. Let's just say right now I list dog at 2 billion, and then it gets listed and goes to 3 billion. I would feel like I robbed myself of gains because like it wasn't the smartest thing to do is list it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. For sure.
All right, guys. It's officially Arch Thursdays. We have an amazing show for you guys today. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. If you don't know what Arch is building is proven network on top of Bitcoin. It's going to be able to allow you to trade in DeFi situations. We're going to have swaps with Saturn. We're going to have borrowing and lending with Fluid tokens. And we're going to have much, much more, guys, on Arch that we really can't do right now in a Bitcoin layer 1 environment. But Arch is going to give us that 1.5 kind of feel to Bitcoin, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to feel like when I'm using Saturn right now, it doesn't feel like I'm doing anything differently than I'm using my same wallet. I'm hitting sign. It is going through, and it's phenomenal. If you guys haven't checked out Saturn's swap yet, it is incentivized. It is incentivized by Saturn, and it is incentivized by the great guys at Arch. Double incentivized there, guys. So go play with Saturn. It's fun. It's exciting, and let's bring up Arch.
Let's do it. All right, let's welcome Nick to the stage. Nick is the CMO for Arch, so he is in the know with everything there. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing well.
Yeah, man. Bitcoin's sitting at 101,000. I mean, I think we're all feeling pretty good right now.
Great. It's so funny because, like, it's also going to go down at some point. It's like I'm going through the ebbs and flows like everyone, and there are moments this week where it's like, oh, it's down. I mean, I'm confident enough that the bull is here, right? And that we're like very much like upward trajectory. But the day in, day out, sometimes it's tough. You just gotta just hold and not pay attention to price action, honestly.
Well, yeah. I think you got to feel grateful for the days being above 100K because this is something people dreamed about. You know what I mean? This is something that I'm not really saying this in a sense of I'm going to sell everything right now at over 100K, but just the sense of like the price really kind of shows where we started and where we're at now, right? Bitcoin's sitting at $2 trillion asset. That is massive in the sense of we're finally getting the recognition that we deserve.
Yeah, I mean it's huge, and it's like that meme, right? Like, if you just knew you were in the glory days when you were living them, we're living them, and just gotta be grateful. So except for the fact that we're not quite at the glory days because Arch isn't quite here on mainnet. So you can see how I did that. But yeah, super happy and excited.
Yeah, but we're not too far from that, so that's exciting. I'm curious, you guys have been busy, right? So you heads down kind of in Arch, the builder ecosystem, but you do notice kind of the ordinal market and the fungible token market on Bitcoin, and the ordinal market has kind of gone down. The attention's gotten away from it, and you've seen something in the ETH NFT side finally get attention back. What are your thoughts on like the ETH NFT market getting that attention? Do you think it comes back to ordinals? I'm just curious of your opinion on that, if you have one.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, definitely pay attention to everything in ordinals and runes because if you look at the Bitcoin programmability space, that's where all the OGs are, right? That's where like the innovation has been happening. So that's definitely in the same discords as you guys. Shout out to my guys at Debauchery, love you guys, and also other groups. But yeah, I would say the truth is, of course, we don't know. But I think from a general macro level, I think everything will shift and move to Bitcoin, right? And, with new upstarts, and the programmability space on Bitcoin is an upstart. It is new, right? It's 2 years old, barely, right? Like there's always like people saying, oh, it's going to come to us, and you don't actually know. The difference here is that Bitcoin is by far, in a world where mass adoption hasn't happened yet, by far the most recognized and most well-known brand. And so, once we have this infrastructure intact, and I believe Arch is going to be able to do that, where you can actually have like, more Solana-like speeds and kind of like a really actual UX that's usable and not so funky, right? Although we love our guys at FunkyBit, but, as long as we have a good UX, then when people enter, they're not going to be like Googling, oh, how do I trade on Solana, right? They might not have heard of Solana. The vast majority of people are going to say, how do I get Bitcoin? Let me look up Bitcoin stuff. And oh, okay, I can like invest my Bitcoin. Okay, I can get interest on it. Oh, okay, I can trade it. And there's like these like, cool art projects on Bitcoin. Like most people, we forget sometimes still like how small and how not known the entire crypto space still is understood. It's like if you got someone who knows Bitcoin and Ethereum, you're lucky, right? But everyone knows Bitcoin. And so that's, I think, where a lot of the opportunities can come. And I do think it flows to ordinals. Does it happen this cycle? I think it will to an extent. Do I think this is where we go parabolic and just crazy numbers? Maybe in comparison to the past, but do we hit like the ETH numbers? I don't know. It might be next cycle, but at the very least, everything comes back to Bitcoin.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just interesting to me that like, everybody was really giving Ethereum a hard time, and finally they got some attention recently, which I think, to be honest, is good for the overall space, for the art space, right? Because eventually I think those profits will come over to ordinal space and all that stuff. But awesome. Okay, cool. Well, you guys, like I said, have been busy with your builder ecosystem and getting Arch ready. What updates do you have for us in the audience about Arch?
Yeah, sorry, you said an audience, or do you want just updates in general about Arch?
Just updates about Arch in terms of maybe like the test net, how it's going. Is mainnet still on track for that Q1 and stuff like that?
All that's, yeah, absolutely. So we are still on track for mainnet in Q1. We also have had a ton of success with testnet. It's crazy to think that we just launched like 2.5 weeks ago with Saturn and FunkyBit. We've added some new features that if you're participating in the Arch program and you're in our dashboard, you go to the missions and you'll see some of these features, but there's stuff like the graffiti wall that people can check out. And actually I can present here, right? So I could even show you guys that real quickly. Yep. Let me do that real quickly. Just share screen. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Can you guys see what I'm putting down here?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Cool. So we've created this fun graffiti wall where typically if you haven't connected your wallet, it'll ask you to connect your wallet here. and you will be able to add your name and a message. And, you know, it will be forever etched on the Arch side of things. We eventually will have a way to also, like, all our transactions in the network are anchored on Bitcoin, but, you know, whether you want to actually finalize a transaction on Bitcoin, obviously that would take gas fees. And right now we are just posting this up for people to have fun, but it is transacting on the Arch network. And so you can actually see people leaving messages. So far, I haven't seen anything too off cuff, too off color. I'm waiting for this to become like the bathroom graffiti wall, but until then, we're appreciating it. Arch will save me. I'm hoping so. Hoping saves all of us. But anyway, so if you want to add a message to the graffiti wall, that's kind of fun. It's graffiti.arch.network, and your name will be etched in the you know, in our ecosystem. And eventually we can also put it back to Bitcoin. But what's really cool here too is actually this part, which is we're still working on our full like block explorer, which a lot of ecosystems obviously have. But we're working on ours in full. Here's like a little peek at it that's actually attached to the graffiti wall, and you can see some of the fun stuff. So you asked how testnet is going. Well, we've got 250,000 or so in transactions on the network so far. Which has been pretty great, especially considering that early on we had some bugs on Saturn and had to reset some things. So the fact that you know, it's been super active has been really good. You can see FunkyBit has had a ton of those. Actually, it looks like total transactions isn't updating yet, because it looks like we've got 255,000 on FunkyBit, 31,000 on Saturn here. This is not
wow.
Yeah, and this is all not all activity that's happened on Saturn or on FunkyBit. This is all Arch specific activities. So anyone who is doing activity that's just you know, minting runes, for example, on Saturn, like that's not counting in this. So you know, it's pretty good numbers. We're really excited. We've had something like 175,000 wallets, I believe, when I checked this morning, connect to the dashboard and connect to our points program. So yeah, just been cooking, man. And you're right though, we've been pretty heads down. We're announcing a lot of our partnerships. You may have seen the Bitflow one. You may have seen Fluid Tokens, which is going to be a lending, borrow lend platform, or that's going to be their first. They've traditionally done some other stuff like staking, but that's going to be their first product. So really, just really exciting stuff. And then if you want to check it out too, there's a FunkyBit Telegram game that people have been having fun with. Test your reaction time and things like that. So that's where we're at.
Awesome. And Fluid is actually one of Ordinal Revolution's official partners. So we're super excited about them, you know, bringing that borrowing and lending for like a one-click experience, right? So that's going to be huge, I think. And, you know, they're going to do a great job in that market. So congrats to them and you guys, because we saw your partnership announcement there. But super exciting. Okay, cool. So one thing I noticed about you guys is with your builder ecosystem and communication, it seems like, you know, you guys have that really in tight. What do you focus on with builders and making sure that they're guided correctly? Because, you know, it can be crazy with the test net. And, you know, are you doing like, okay, you 5 builders can use the test net now, and then another group comes in after, or what's your approach to that?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part of that question? Another group comes in later.
Yeah. So like, how are you guys handling the test net? Because I feel like you have a good system right now. Are you guys doing like, okay, these 5 builders have access to the test net now, and then once they're done, another 5 builders come in? Like, how are you handling that?
Yeah, I mean, we're in conversations with you know, over 100 projects, but they're all obviously at different levels. And what we typically do is we, you know, when we're talking to a project and they're, you know, serious, we'll send them the documents, you know, the book and things like that. Some that we've also advertised, you know, here and elsewhere. But, you know, people can just get started building with us and communicating with our team. And I wouldn't say that we like throttle it. It's like, okay, we're only going to focus on these 5. It really is like an opportunity where if you're ready to build and you're, you know, investing in resources, we'll work with you to get you very quickly going up. Matt earlier today from his Twitter handle, Proof of Mud, posted a video of a prediction market that actually moved very quickly. I mean, you know, most of the projects we've been talking to, you know, for a few months, and to be fair, you know, building the network, you know, since our seed round, when we raised $7 million in March, like we weren't ready to integrate people that quickly. But some projects have been building on us for months, and this project I think came in like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and very quickly was able to implement the system. So we're much further along in terms of quick integrations. And the quickest way to do it, honestly, is like if you've built a program in Solana, a lot of the architecture is similar, and you just have to kind of adjust a few small things. Or if you've built a lot of things in the Bitcoin ecosystem, knowing Rust obviously is essential and makes a big difference. So pretty getting closer to plug and play. And yeah, if any projects are like excited to get going, like we'll get you guys connected and just start running. We're definitely not like metering out who goes live and like trying to be strategic with that aspect. It's more just like, are you ready? Like, can we, put this, if you're ready, like we'll get you up in terms of a marketing perspective in like, a week or two. Like it's pretty quick.
Yeah, I love that. I love that approach. It's kind of like if you guys can show us that you guys are ready to go, we're ready to go with you. That's awesome. All right, Nick, we're going to start introducing the guest up. So I'm going to pull you down for a bit while we talk to Hex from Saturn next. So we appreciate you starting us off. We'll talk in a bit. All right, let's welcome Hex from Saturn. How are you doing, Hex?
Yo, good. How are you?
Good. For the audience that doesn't know who Hex is one of the founders of Saturn Dex, which is planning to be the main DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem, right? You guys have been one of the major projects going through Arch's testnet. Could you explain how that has been for you guys from an experience level and where you guys are today?
Yeah, so the experience has been crazy. I mean, so we're the only application that's actually pushing through layer 1 transactions that you can see on the mempool at the moment. So every transaction that you can see going through testnet 4, which is essentially the exact same network that you're going to be using on mainnet, is the legitimate experience, the legitimate transaction rate. So that's been pretty intense. I think we've been stress tested about 10, 20 times more than we originally expecting, which is obviously amazing. People are really excited about it. And yeah, I mean, just testnet things, I guess, is one of the titles of our post. Like, there's obviously been a number of things that we need to work through, but devs have been cranking. Yesterday, we hit our all-time high transaction success rate. I think, again, we're going to do that today.
Wow.
So definitely out of the worst of it. Like, it's so difficult to replicate public environments when it's just like your small group of testers and the core team. And then when you open it up to, I mean, let me just check the numbers real quick. 150,000 different visitors that are all trying to break it in wonderful different ways. Does pick up a lot that we didn't initially. But yeah, we've got out of the majority of the bigger bugs and now just focusing more on the finer details. Obviously, 100% success rate is the non-negotiable end goal. And I do think we'll get there. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of work. The reception's been amazing. And it's cool to see people starting to really see what is possible in Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. So last time we kind of talked to you, it was like that day, a very stressful day of the launch. You were really working making sure everyone was good, being a part of that, just kind of people reaching out to you. How's it been since? Has it been as stressful as it was day one? I know you guys, every now and then I'll go on and I'll do a swap and just kind of mess around, just checking up on you guys. And it seems to be working great.
Yeah, I mean, I think for anyone that's been testing over the last week, I doubt you'd notice any issues, and 99% of people are going to go through there without any issues whatsoever. Obviously, what we're noticing is people are plugging in more botting side of things, and they're really trying to stress test it. Now, that is a good thing. People obviously feel very passionately about bots, but unfortunately, that is part and parcel of this space. So we need to make sure that we can handle that kind of user activity as well. So that's where a lot of these edge cases are coming from. But again, we're managing to iron our way through them quite well. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say stressful is so much intense day one. I had so much fun. I believe I was up from like 6 a.m. and then went to sleep at like 3 a.m. But I was smiling the whole day. It was a great day. Yeah, it's definitely less intense. But saying that, like, we haven't really seen users tapering off at all. Obviously, there was that day one spike, but since then we've remained at about 70,000 visits every day since, which is really cool. And there's a bunch of new features coming up. So hopefully the first quote unquote upgrade to the platform will be coming next week. And there'll be a number of other things as we go through testnet. But yeah, priority remains the same. Get to mainnet as soon as humanly possible.
100%. Do you see, like, is there a point in the day where it's like a lot of people at one time? Are you guys seeing more users in the morning, afternoon, night? Like, where are you seeing that at?
That's a great question. So for no reason in particular, around 8 p.m. till midnight my time, so 8 p.m. UTC till midnight UTC, we see a bit of a taper off in users. And then at around 5 a.m. UTC, that's usually when we get spikes. The country demographic is quite interesting. Most of our users come from India, second Nigeria, third Japan, fourth Indonesia, and fifth USA. So it's quite an interesting outreach. I think we're going to need to get a native Chinese speaker in the Discord though, because there's a lot of users that we're unable to help, which is a little upsetting.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. You guys can see that where they're coming from and everything. And obviously, there's some people probably using VPNs like myself, but it's really cool to kind of see where the demographics coming from.
Yeah, it's always really surprising. I mean, like, I think one of the talking points, and not a lot of people are talking about it, apart from CB Spears at the moment, is that BRC20s have actually flipped runes in volume recently. I do think that's quite funny. No one's really talking about that, and that's from a demographic that none of us can see. And I think that's kind of a wider commentary of the cycle entirely. Everyone was focused on Bitcoin and Solana, and then the XRP army are laughing all the way home to the bank, buying coins that no one even talked about for the last 3-4 years or whatever. So yeah, I definitely think it's interesting to kind of look at the data more objectively and kind of get a real true idea of who your user base is, because it's never who you expect.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it definitely does seem like the runes are more west, while the BRC20s are more east, right? More China,
Definitely.
Singapore,
Yeah,
and that area. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Right now, you guys are just using kind of like runes. Do you have any? Are you guys going to eventually kind of push into BRC20s as well?
That's funny you mentioned that. So obviously we're pretty token agnostic. We want to accommodate all tokens. The infrastructure of the actual site doesn't change too much depending on what token you're exchanging. So the LP and AMM, most of that will still work for BRC20s, but obviously there is an amount of code that needs to be written there. If we decide and we see momentum shifting enough, we can make that a priority item. But at the moment, the priority items is just 100% uptime, no transaction failures, shipping the next features we've kind of got for the platform. And then, yeah, BRC20 integration could 100% be on the roadmap.
So would it be possible to do like a swap between runes and BRC20 liquidity pool, or do you think you'll have to have two different, you have to switch from BRC20 to runes?
I mean, theoretically, yes, it's possible, but again, there needs to be a decision in what would be a higher priority between, because at the moment you can only do Bitcoin to rune swaps. You can do rune to rune swaps, but it's a much more complicated transaction. But if we can achieve that, it means that you could kind of LP two different stable coins, which would be super useful. And that's obviously where loads of volume comes from and things like Solana and stuff. So yeah, a decision needs to be made there about kind of what's the higher priority item. But theoretically, yes, it's possible.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Hex, so from what I've heard, you've had some experience on Solana, and so you know how fast-paced that environment is, right? And you know, being over here with runes and BRC20s, it's like, you know, slowing down to like a very, very slow traffic compared to that, right? But the amount of Bitcoin that was spent was pretty high, and you can even see that like with Ordinals and Magic Eden. So the opportunities here, but do you think something like Arch, which you've been building on, could open that door that hasn't been able to be open for mass adoption with Bitcoin fungibles? Do you think that's possible with what you're experiencing?
I don't think it's possible. I think it's probable to quite a high factor. Like I just don't see any situation where this doesn't have a major impact. I heard Nick speaking before me and obviously made some really good points there about how a lot of users don't really know what's possible. A lot of people, like, I'm a firm believer that if we forecast this out for the next 30 years, most of the user base is going to be in 30 years haven't used Bitcoin yet whatsoever. So we talk about, oh, hey, this is SloFi, this is this weird retro chain or whatever. Most and the majority of our user base in the future are never going to have used that network. They're going to use programs that are or applications that are supplemented by something like Arch, and they're going to have a user experience that's really nice, and they're going to say, what the hell has everyone been complaining about? I think that goes back to a blind spot of like, we don't really know who our users are as well. So I think it's going to make a massive, massive difference. I think I feel more comfortable in saying now that people have toyed around with Saturn that this is a better experience than ETH. So it's like the narrative becomes pretty straightforward. It's like, well, why would I use ETH when it's slow and expensive when I can just use Bitcoin, the most secure decentralized network in the world, and get a better user experience? So yeah, I think the dominoes are going to start falling, but it's still a little bit, we're still quite a niche crew building in here. But yeah, I don't think it takes much to really set this on fire.
Yeah. I actually believe that like a lot of it's going to have to do with marketing, right? Because Ethereum has MetaMask and MetaMask works with all these EVM chains and stuff like that. It's been really marketed. It's the first DeFi really to experience. But Solana did a great job with that, I think, with Phantom and, you know, Radium eventually, and then the pump fund model here. Do you think the wallets are going to have to come together and kind of have this marketing effort of like, okay, now Bitcoin has DeFi with Saturn decks and stuff like that, you know, Xverse, everybody, it's going to have to be a huge marketing collaboration push? Or do you think it just naturally, organically happens?
It's funny. So Solana in the bear market was actually quite dramatically flooded for not having a marketing spend. So Polygon had spent, I don't know, X amount of million on their Starbucks collaboration, their Disney collaboration, and all of that. None of that really came into fruition. And Tony, you gotta take your hat off to him. He was very hardcore in the sense that do nothing but just ship as aggressively and as well as possible, and that's just resulted in this really amazing ecosystem where wallets seamlessly integrate with products seamlessly integrate with each other, pumped up funds seamlessly integrates with Radium. You've now have Phantom that's been able to detect pump fund tokens as soon as they're made and things like that. Like, it's a really good ecosystem. And I think like the best marketing you can do is just by making really, really good products. And I think for the longest time on Bitcoin, it's been pretty impossible to make good products. But again, like as we're kind of seeing now with Saturn, I know there's the prediction market now being opened. I think like it's going to get pretty straightforward to use Bitcoin, and that's kind of where this seamless experience comes from. I think it then becomes more difficult to defend other ecosystems once you can kind of replicate that on Bitcoin. So we are in a bit of like an advantageous position where we know what works. Like, we don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Like, we've seen what a really good thriving ecosystem looks like. If you can put that on the most widely adopted blockchain on the planet, that's a recipe for success.
That's awesome. Yep. I agree. You know, the products are really going to make it, you know, if they're seamless. And that seems what, you know, Arch is really doing with their network and the builders of networks. But definitely appreciate your time, Hex. Any final words, maybe what the audience should look forward to for the next step for Saturn?
All for me. I mean, if you've been out testing Saturn, thank you so much. You guys have been incredible. If there's any thoughts, comments, questions, collaborations, just send us a message. We're unfortunately online 24/7. But yeah, other than that, always here to help and always available. And thank you guys so much for hosting this.
For sure. For sure. Super excited about being able to use Saturn, and thank you for your time, Hex. We're going to pull you down and appreciate you. Yeah, I'm super excited about Saturn Hex. You've been testing it, right? What's your experience with it so far?
Daily, yeah, I use it every morning. I what I do is every morning when before I hop into the show, I have a few test nuts that I like just play on. I go in, I can make 2 trades. Very bullish on it. It seems to be working every time I use it. That's what kind of why I was asking them about like what time of the day, because sometimes in the morning it feels kind of jammed up when I do my service, but then if I try it again later in the day, it works perfect. So that was kind of like what I was sensing. Maybe I would just move that to later in the day.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Look, I'm excited to be able to create liquidity pools in the seamless feel of like layer 1, right? Without the centralization part. Obviously, you do have options, you know, like scaling layer 2s and stuff like that. But it seems like what Arch is creating is like this kind of native feel. So.
Yep.
Excited about that. All right, the next guest, guys, that we're bringing up, you should be familiar with him because we did a pre-record with Bound, and Scott is the founder of Bound. A really, really smart guy, right? And I love how he found Ordinals. I'm going to let him kind of tell that story to you guys again. But let's bring Scott up to the stage. How you doing, Scott?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's
Good
up,
to be
man?
back.
Yeah, man. So we put out your video yesterday. It was absolutely awesome. I watched it back during the one just before we put it out, and yeah, I think the audience really are ready for some stable coins, man.
Nice, man. Yeah, we're getting there. Can't wait for that Arch Network launch. I was listening to Hex a little bit. You know, one of the primary use cases, of course, of the stablecoin is providing liquidity. So, you know, looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, before we get into it, could you kind of introduce yourself to the audience and let them know what Bound is about?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, so my background, I've been in crypto for, I think, wow, like almost 7 years now. Before that, I was in traditional finance. So I found crypto in like early 2017, joined the space full time in 2018. I worked for this project called Icon, if you guys remember that, the Korean Ethereum. And you know, still somewhat involved, you know, paying attention to that project and whatnot. But yeah, so you know, went to you know, help them bootstrap their DeFi ecosystem, and then really liked building at the app layer. Built an RWA protocol in the past, and now using that same infrastructure from the RWA protocol to issue a stablecoin in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Yeah, and like you were saying, Yagobi, my intro, like how did I get into the Bitcoin ecosystem? One of my team members who's actually working in the office with me today, you know, kind of orange pilled me with Ordinals and got me to buy, you know, got me into Bitcoin puppets, and that's kind of like where my journey started. That was like almost a year ago at this point, which is kind of hard to believe as well, as we're wrapping up 2024 here.
And Shizzy was talking about that on our live today. He was like, you know, I really respect someone that like gets their foot through the door in our space by buying a puppet, right? Because it's like they know that group and that community and stuff like that. So that's pretty awesome. Could you talk a little bit about how like a stable coin can help, you know, our ecosystem? How can it help the Bitcoin ecosystem, and what you guys are bringing to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was actually talking about this this morning with one of my team members, but like just having the ability to like stable up, you know, for market volatility and be able to buy dips like when you want to. Like, let's say, you know, market's ripping, you want to you know, sell some Bitcoin for cash or whatever, you can still hold that. You'll be able to hold that in your Xverse wallet, and then, you know, let's say you want to jump in and buy puppets or buy, you know, some other ordinal or some other runes, like you'd be able to very quickly kind of go back into, you know, without having to do any bridging, just kind of keeping everything in your wallet, be able to jump like right back into the space. So I think like it enables more of that kind of trading environment that you're used to on that a lot of people are used to on other chains.
Yeah, 100%. And right now, like if I want to go into a safe asset right now, I have to go into Bitcoin. So if let's say I'm in runes, I'm in something, and I'm like, you know what, I think this is going to topped out right here. Let me go out and then come back in. So I have that for runes, but I don't have that for Bitcoin itself.
Right,
and having
exactly.
something like stable, you know, to have that will allow me to do that with Bitcoin. Let's just say Bitcoin, I'm like, yeah, this is going back down to 90. I just feel it. I have that option now with stable coins to do that. But right now, the stable coins we do have, there's no really like liquid. I mean, it's hard to get. You're going to be paying either high, like you're going to pay a high fee to get in and get out because they're like 101, 102. They're not stable at that dollar mark, as you could see with, you know, with Bound and when it's listed on Hex and kind of seeing, or Saturn, I'm sorry, kind of seeing that liquidity pool and kind of getting it for the price that it's supposed to be, $1.
Yeah, and on top of that, like something else that you know, another key use case that kind of everyone in the space loves is leverage, right? And that's another thing I'm excited about for Arch Network and, you know, whatever other apps end up building there, like a borrow lend market. You know, you could deposit Bitcoin, you could borrow BUSD, go buy more Bitcoin on Saturn, deposit that as collateral on a lending market, and just kind of keep looping that. You know, everyone's kind of favorite trade. So
the sailor way.
I know I'll be doing that. I know I'll be doing that.
The sailor way. That's funny.
Right? It's the sailor way. Yeah.
And way bigger scale, though.
Yeah.
You buy Bitcoin, you leverage the, you take a loan against that Bitcoin, you get dollars, you take out more Bitcoin, you leverage that Bitcoin, you buy, you just keep going and
Not
going and going.
recommended. Not recommended.
This is not financial advice, but it is
yeah.
something that I will be doing and I'm currently doing.
I mean, definitely a good strategy if you're experienced and you have that discipline. But yeah, so to Shizzy's point though, and to add on to that, it's like no one. It's not seamless the way you can get into stables right now. Like you have to do it through a rune or like the Magic Eden exchange. So once you guys are added, to mainnet, or once I would say Saturn is mainnet, that's going to be so like I think like such a good asset to be able to get into, right? And that's why I think a lot of these like Solana and Ethereum people aren't probably trading over here that much, is because they can't get into stables and wait for the price to go back down and get into something else and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a huge thing.
It's like generally cumbersome to do, and like once you do get here, it's like a much different trading experience than it is on Solana and other ecosystems. Like just these block orders, and it's like takes like 10 minutes for you to be able to swap between different assets. I think like something I was really excited about is just having liquidity pools and being able to start that style of trading. There are some trust assumptions there, but not for the trader. The trader really doesn't have to deal with that, and it's just going to really significantly improve the experience. So I'm excited for Q1 next year. I still think too many people are fading the Bitcoin ecosystem. They just don't know that it's about to have this like 0 to 1 improvement and really be like trading on Ethereum or trading on Solana.
100%.
Amen.
100%. Well, Scott, I know that like we grabbed you during your lunch period, so I want to let you go. But one last, I guess, statement for the audience. What should they expect next for Bound?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, our eyes are on the Arch Network, mainnet launch, assuming it's going to be like early next year at this point. Yeah, we're going to be going live with them. So, be ready to bring your stables over from other ecosystems and start trading on Arch and trading on Saturn.
Let's go. I love it. We appreciate you, Scott, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Take it easy, man. Thanks for having me. See ya.
Thanks, Scott.
Take it easy. Yeah, we had Scott, on with our pre-record and Bound. I really like his experience, right? Like he comes from TradFi, Deutsche Bank, I think is his background, and like built during the Ethereum infrastructure build out, and then really has all that experience to kind of bring to today, right? It's kind of like you and I, like we brought our experience from our past work lives into today, and it's helped a lot, and so I think that's kind of the same case for Scott. But how do you see like Bound? Do you see it having an advantage being kind of like the first stable to come on the Arch, which is going to be a fast trading environment?
Yeah, I mean, the partnerships that you can make now in testnet are going to be thriving once mainnet's launched. If you can kind of get in early, obviously as a user or somebody who wants to invest in something, you want to get in early, but as a builder, you need to think about doing that as well. If you can get in early and create partnerships, to say Bound has a partnership with Saturn off the bat, Saturn might not list Hermetica. They might not list something like that yet. You have that upper movement because you already established that relationship, that trust factor, and that's huge from B2B, business to business.
Yep. I was on mute for a second there, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. And so we do have one more guest, guys, which has, I looked at their website and their project is very, very interesting. So you might want to lock in with this one, but we have, I think it's pronounced Haas from Ordis. So let's bring Haas up to the stage. How are you doing, Haas?
I'm good. Haas thing. All good, man. I'm just in Dubai. I've just finished from the whole Mempool Con, which was super dope. Had a ton of very good conversations, and I'm happy to be here. It's been, it's honestly a pleasure. Thank you very much, guys, for having us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah, Dubai, from what I'm seeing, seems to be a blast, which is awesome. A lot of the builders in our ecosystem is out there, so I'm glad you're out there being able to connect and network. But first, if you wouldn't mind kind of introducing yourself to us and the audience, and let us know what Ordis is about.
Yeah, sure, guys. So I'm not a Bitcoin native like most of us here. We've all come from different ecos and kind of fallen in love, or Bitcoin has fallen in love with us, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm from the Binance eco. That's where I traditionally started off as a BD. once upon a time. I reached out to a friend and I said, I really want to get involved with crypto. And he said, just chill, man. Your time will come. And before you know it, I was helping projects launch from seed all the way up to kind of, listing, helping them with kind of the likes of it was the whole launchpad era, right? Of the IDOs and without refund policies, by the way, disclaimer, that's not financial advice either, but it was, them days were great. And then I think 9-10 months ago, I bumped into a friend who we'd worked together previously. And we said, this was a time when BRC20 was on the hype. And when I mean on the hype, I think I saw a game who had nothing to do with BRC20, just put BRC20 and launch. And I was like, okay, let's have a look at this. Why is it so hyped? We started to build, the market tanked, and we've been building since. But it's honestly a pleasure to be here because I've not really been able to express what Ordis does to many people. And I guess really it's something that I personally would use, and I guess it will resonate with many individuals who have fallen in love with Ordinals. So have a look at our website. But in short, what we are is we're a Bitcoin liquidity protocol that offers borrowing and leverage products across the ecosystem, while, of course, enabling native yield for lenders. Now, that's kind of the dictionary or the philosophical pitch of what we do. But our first feature, of course, is the buy now, pay later, which is as easy as it is. You want a puppet, you pay 20%, pay the interest, borrow the puppet, and then, of course, you can... the remainder is of course locked, and then there's yield, of course, back to that. But most importantly, it allows you to do that degen trading that you've always wanted to do. So again, instead of buying one of them, go buy a puppet, go buy OMB, go buy Node Monks, buy 3, 4, 5 ordinals, and have some fun with it. That's the most important thing. Of course, don't get liquidated, because there is a risk element to this, of course. But in short, we're trying to revolutionize the way ordinals are bought on the Bitcoin eco. And that's kind of we're super proud of doing as well. I mean, just if you're flicking through our website right now, we spent just over, I love this bit because I really want to show you. So if you can flick through the stars actually move with the mouse, if you can look there. And also the dino moves as well. And that's simply because I think there's a statistic that 84 to 86% of individuals in crypto have ADHD. Something crazy.
No shocker there.
Yeah, it's a crazy number that's out there. And this website actually allows you to just play around with it, right? And just keep the mind stimulated. So we really thought about our branding and design. The Dino is something we thought about, as a collection as well. But yeah, look, I'd love to tell you a ton of kind of, how we're doing this XYZ, but that's simply it. And that's how I was explaining to people today. Like, we're allowing you to just leverage ordinals. And that's a sweet, short answer of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so just kind of reading the borrowing side. So it says select your desired ordinal, specify the upfront amount, and pay a fraction now while settling the remaining balance later. Okay, so if the ordinal was 10,000, I do 20%, I pay 2,000, I take the ordinal and I owe 8,000, or what's my collateral?
Correct. Yes. So yeah, you borrow the 8,000. The ordinal is held in escrow, which our beautiful or very nice company called Arch Network helps us to do. And that's, I think, the beauty of our Arch Network itself. So the ordinal is held in escrow. And then, of course, once the payments have been completely made, you then own the ordinal. But of course, in an ideal world, yes, if you're an investor and you think, okay, cool, there's two types of investors, of course, or even three. If you're a long, short-term a short, medium, or a long-term investor, you have different variables of how you want to invest into something. So, this works for short term. If somebody wants to kind of hold an escrow and then they can still trade it because we'll also have a marketplace. The short term, the medium term would, of course, be, okay, I'm going to wait for a couple of weeks to see what's going on in the market. Let's see, maybe leave it. And then I can, when I see it going up and I can see my money coming in, I can then, when I see the floor moving and stuff, I'll sell it for a profit. And then, of course, the long-term guy is, okay, I'll buy this, I'll pay the interest because I don't have enough money right now. But I believe that Bitcoin Puppets is going to go to 1 Bitcoin in a year, 6 months time. So really thought about this kind of, long-term goals for individuals and also looking at mindsets of investors. Everybody has different, and you were having the conversation there, how we can just leverage off Saturn and leverage off, buy stuff. Like, people do that because they're skilled to do so. So again, it's a complete different mindset for every individual. Not, like my grandfather used to say, not one shoe does not fit all. So we're not really trying to do that in this eco either, or this product.
Gotcha. So I think I got it. So for example, the puppet is $10,000. I put my 20% up. 2,000 is my capital, and
Correct.
if that puppet gets below a certain price, that's when I get my 2,000 can get liquidated. But if it gets higher, I can actually trade that puppet in your marketplace to get that money to pay back, and then whatever I've earned on top. Correct?
Correct. Nail on the head there. Yeah, very, very simple and easy. Very simple and easy method.
Awesome.
So yeah, and then on the other side, of course, on the flip side of this is, of course, one thing that we looked at really is currently in the market. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the kind of going rate of native yield on Bitcoin is around 1% to 2%. Because we have this system in place where we will be charging interest on these on the collateral, on the borrowed, we can actually pay a far increased value, or a higher value of native yield to individuals who want to put their Bitcoin on our protocol. So that, of course, is going to be something that's going to be very interesting to see. We are very early stage. It's just kind of Ordis itself as a company. I'm sure some of the people on here may have seen us around. We're hard to miss. We've been around for a little while, but we've been through to be totally honest, we've been through trials and tribulations, and that's what every founder and every project goes through. Hand on heart to say you that we've kind of found it first heart, we haven't, but we've been eager, we've been hungry, we've been kind of speaking to the right people, and it was literally one call with Arch, and then this product really gave birth. So it's been a couple of weeks now since we've been kind of in the process. We're hoping to be ready on testnet by Jan, and then ready for mainnet with Arch. But really, that's when the fun starts, because I think there's two things here. Not to be too cliche, but Mark Zuckerberg said, don't try to reinvent the wheel, right? If we look at Blur as a company charging 0% fees, they were able to really destroy the market with OpenSea. But the issue that they had is that they weren't generating enough revenue. So the guys went away and thought, okay, well, what can we create to bring us revenue, but also drive traction into our platform? And they came up with something called Blend. And that really changed the game for Blur itself. And that's exactly what we're trying to build onto the Ordinals eco. We're trying to change the way individuals are looking at, trading, buying, selling their Ordinals, basically getting more for your buck, getting more for your money that you're putting in, and allowing that, like you just mentioned, without me being here, it's leverage. The beauty of leverage, what we're actually giving to individuals now.
Yeah, man. And there's projects that we've seen building that is going to really showcase what you guys are doing. If you know what I'm talking about, Yagobi, like being able to borrow something and then use it in an environment where you're able to do stuff with it and then potentially give it back. So which is in that sense we'll be selling it on the marketplace. So yeah, there's definitely stuff coming that can definitely utilize what you're building. For sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, look, this, like I mentioned before, just to give you that philosophy, or give you that kind of dictionary answer of what Ordis is. We're a liquidity protocol that offers borrowing and lending, and also native yield for lending. What this means is actually the door for us isn't just one product. It's, liquidity is king. Anybody who can hold and provide liquidity to individuals with a good native yield on L1 is actually something that I would use personally myself, and I'm sure most people listening in would use. So this is our first feature. Again, as long as this goes well, of course, we'll be rolling out. I mean, I had a conversation with, who was I speaking to today? I think I was speaking to a BitGod. So BitGod is over in Dubai. He really loved the idea. We had a very good chat, and he was saying about nodes and stuff. Just general conversation, right? How you could actually leverage nodes, how you could leverage fungibles in the future. So super open market, super getting into. But one thing that I do know from experiences is do it small, do it well. And I think that's really important as a founder, because look, I could go into the open market and say, you know what, let's build this as a team. We're a very competent team. So let's build this, this, and this. But if you don't successfully launch one project, then Ordis itself fails as a brand. And realistically, you can keep taking a brand so far, but you need to make sure that you have that foundation project before actually you can start launching projects and letting them fail. So it's something that we're super excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% right on that, by the way. Do something small, do it well, and then growth will organically come.
Oh, 100%. It's the whole user experience, right? It's making sure that people actually, Saturn is a huge example of this as well.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about this and stuff. Like, they've done it really well. It's not just, what you get for your money, it's the user experience. Like, you want to be using it. And I think that's really important, when we look at it. Like, research and development, unfortunately, in the crypto industry is sometimes not done so well. And I'm speaking from experience, right? I've helped over, in my past, over 40 projects launch. So I understand the visions of certain founders. I understand the visions that they're going through, right? It's like, oh, wow, we're in a bull run. Let's just launch this product. And then we'll worry about this later. For us, really, it's more about, let's build a product. Let's work about the product. Let's see how this is going to work. And then we can go into raising the funds. Because you can raise $1 million and have nobody on your platform. That $1 million has gone totally to waste. But more importantly, this is another thing that I always say is, I'll give you $1 million today. Give me back my time. And nobody can give you back your time. It's totally time. There's not it's impossible. So I think more than anything, it's like valuing time that you have, not for yourself, but people that you're working around as well.
100%. Yeah, man. I guess my next question would be, when will you guys be live on testnet? Are you guys like in Q1 or is it sooner than that?
Yeah, $1 million question. We're aiming for Jan, towards the back end potentially. We don't sleep. We just work, eat, and trade, and then work again. So at the moment, it's just like nonstop. And to be honest with you, I'm in a position where the team are so bullish about this, that they're the same, right? It's, being a founder, you normally take the most fruit off the tree. But we have such a great team that we make sure that everybody is doing well. So I think that makes people want to work for this. So yeah, by the end of Jan, I think everybody's going to have maybe a day off for Christmas or a couple of days off for Christmas. That's totally up to themselves, right? We're super open. But I think mid-Jan, end of Jan, we'll be at testnet. And then really it's just go from there. The most important thing here is, I know we see this and people are probably thinking, like, why do you need a token, right? Because we eventually will launch a token in Q1, but actually we have a collateral boost in place, which gives you better loan to value ratios, better APYs, just generally better terms for that loan or for that lending and borrowing happening. So that's going to happen in Q1 as well. So yeah, look, Bitcoin is all-time high. I'm super excited for what I'm just excited for Q1 really.
Yeah. I think I'm excited to utilize this platform, because leveraging ordinals, I think, is going to be a big thing once that art bull market comes, right? So super awesome. You guys probably going to be partnering with like Bound and BUSD as well and stuff like that in the future. But thank you so much. Is it Haas? Am I pronouncing that correct?
That's perfect. That'll do. Yagobi, don't worry about it.
I'm wrong. Okay.
That's
all good.
You know what it is? I went over to Consensus actually, and it was like a mix of like Haas and Haas. My full name is Hassan, but I keep it nice and short. So it's easy. As long as I normally say, as long as you say it with a good heart, everything works.
Hey, that's a great perspective. But we appreciate you jumping on and really just breaking down for the audience what Ordies is about. Love to have you on for a full pre-record one day so we can get a recorded episode with you on in our library for education purposes. But thank you so much for your time today, and we'll talk soon.
No, honestly, I've been watching the Ordinals Revolution, the Ordinal show for the past 6 or 7 months, and I've always said, I'll get there. I'll be on that show one day. It's it was a way of it sounds so like, oh my gosh, we'll get there kind of thing, but milestones, steps is part of the process, right? And we're now comfortably at a place where we can sit here, we can present with absolute confidence on the product we're bringing to the market. So thank you guys for having Ordies on the show, and we would love to be on a longer show for sure.
Awesome. And you're invited back every Thursday. If you have updates or whatever, just go pop in and say hi. But we're going to do our Thursdays same time every Thursday.
Amazing. Thank you very much, guys. Pleasure.
See you, man. Take it easy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that one's interesting, right?
That's cool. Yeah. So
I started automatically thinking about, people are going to utilize that once, these puppets, node monks start to get to 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. It's a great platform. Obviously, be careful. It is leverage, so be smart. We're all adults here, but I love that. And then I started thinking about fungibles, but he kind of stopped me and was like, one step at a time, which is the perfect mentality as like a business development lead or director to have. So I think they're in great hands there. What'd you think?
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, same thing. It's I'm curious to see how it's gonna work. You can tell me about something 900 times, but until I'm playing with it and fully understand and really gotta get a game plan for it, that's when I really get excited. So I'm looking forward to testing that.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to bring Nick back up one more time just to kind of
Yeah.
hear his final thoughts about all the builders. So let's welcome Nick back up. Nick,
what's up, bud?
What'd you think about all the builders today, and just your final thoughts on them?
I can't tell you how gratifying it is from coming in June and not even having a white paper or any foundational documents, still trying to figure out how to communicate exactly what we were. And now seeing a live testnet as of 2.5 weeks ago, seeing apps that people can play with and have fun with, seeing just the awesome community reaction. I mean, it is awesome. It's a great feeling. And we've definitely seen that. And it's even better than I made it seem earlier, because I was looking back at the transaction amounts on the mempool and was just realizing that actually Saturn activity is much greater than what's been shown there. And there's some back end reasons for that. But I think we showed like 30, 40,000, and it's actually much, much higher than that. So, just some stuff we're working on the back end. But point is that, the activity has been great. The response has been great. And I think what's really exciting for me personally is being able to talk about different apps in the ecosystem. Of course, we've had Bound, and Hermetica was mentioned, and Hermetica, has plans to launch when we're ready for mainnet. And like you mentioned, Shizzy, sometimes there's some benefits to launching on testnet. You get a heads up, Bound is doing. They also have different mechanics behind how they maintain their pegs, so that'll be worthwhile exploring. But in general, we've got these great projects, Saturn, Dex, and FunkyBit, everyone's heard of, but the fact that Ordiz is coming on as well, and the fact that we've got Fluid Token and having their option, we're going to have a buy now, pay later type of ordinal experience pretty soon too, which is pretty exciting. A good tease to that, and the predictor market that Matt posted about earlier today. So, and like I said, that's a project that came in like 2 or 3 weeks ago, just built real quickly, excited, and I don't know exactly when our live testnet launch with them. They're already live on our testnet, but we aren't advertising it yet. But once they're live and people are ready to play with it, it's gonna be sick. So just excited about all the forward momentum.
Yeah. And we want to give you and Matt a big thanks, man, because this is the type of segment we wanted with you guys, right? Really kind of opening up the window, letting us see what's going on inside, and really talking to these builders firsthand about what the experience is. And my confidence is building week by week in Arch Network, and I can't wait to be able to utilize it on mainnet. And I know that date's going to come, but you kind of what Haas said, it is, step by step, right? But once we're there, it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. And, we're committed to building in public. We're excited to build in public. That's why we're doing shows like this. You've probably seen me and Matt on, 1000X spaces. And I mean, the Bitcoin ecosystem is still, you're still early. It's still so small, and yet it's building every day, and you're seeing that forward momentum. So, we all got to stay in touch, and we got to be working with each other, and we got to be helping each other out. And it does remind me of the early days of Ethereum or Solana, where you had just a bunch of builders who were passionate about something, who believed in something, and who were, excited to hash out all the debates and, really get some good work together. So thanks for having me, and thanks for having us consistently here. We'll keep throwing some fun, exciting projects up every week. Certainly, we've got plenty of them coming. So
for sure,
Looking
and you do a great job about that, by the way. So
trying
we
my
appreciate
best. Trying my best. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate it, Nick. We will talk to you soon, sir.
Absolutely. Catch you guys later.
See you next week. See you, buddy.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Another successful Arch Thursday. Really learned a lot from these builders, man. We had Bound, stablecoin. Look out for them. You have Ordiz, Haas from Ordiz. That was really cool to see. And then obviously Hex from Saturn. And then Nick to wrap up the whole Arch thing. Really good episode. Really happy that we did this, man. Really awesome to see what's happening, and I think our audience is going to be super early to Arch, and we're going to reap the benefits of that. The entire Ordinal Revolution here.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you guys had a show that gave you guys the insights of when Solana was on testnet, or when Arbitrum was on testnet. Arbitrum launched actually in 2021, and nobody was talking about it for probably like a year and a half later. People were, but not like, you had to be in the know, and that's what we're trying to bring to you guys. So hopefully you guys understand that it's not just to have some big names in the space on. It's for education. We want you guys to learn and be ready, because Arch, I have this like gut feeling that they're going to be a big solution, if not the solution, for this native filling trading. So
I agree.
But 303 people watching us. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. I think there's a lot of people in Dubai right now, which I'm hoping they're having fun and really connecting and helping, connect to make the ecosystem better and more innovative. So if you guys wouldn't mind checking out our partners, it allows us to continue to do this, including you guys watching us. So we're thankful for that as well. But Emblem Vault is going to be the main interoperability tool, I believe, in the Bitcoin Layer 1 asset space. You're going to be able to jump puppets, node monkeys, frogs from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Merlin, Bitcoin Layer 1 to Solana, etc. These guys are building. And actually, we found out yesterday in our meeting with Jay Gallen that, guys, their AI build for their AI agent wallet is going to be amazing. They're going to have that release for Bitcoin. They think at the end of this month, but if not, early Q1. You're going to be able to literally like go into like a ChatGPT and tell your Bitcoin wallet agent to buy, I don't know, 10,000 BTC tokens with this wallet, and it'll do it for you automated. So be ready for that. Also be ready for, their lit protocol with their jump feature for you guys to be able to bridge over like ordinals and one gas price for the gas of the chain you're going to. Look out for them. You can learn more at emblem.vision. And then also BetBTC is the predictions market of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets. If you have an Xverse wallet and have Bitcoin in there, you can actually deposit directly from there. It does take 6 blocks, but after that, you can start placing your bets. There's a lot of Bitcoin related bets in there, so go visit them at betbtc.win. And BitPerp, they will start their paper trading competition next week. We thought it was this week, but they had some issues with the faucet for Botonics. So Botonics need to kind of button that up there. But you will have a chance to win 10,000 USDT or 50,000 BTP. I think it's going to be top 3 winners like they did last time. You can learn more at bitperp.io. So go check those guys out. And then Fluid Tokens, they were just talking about them. These guys are everywhere and they're innovative. They were the first to offer retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. You're able to stake Doggo to the Moon to earn more Doggo to the Moon. Just random ordinals and runes. So if you're a founder or, a collection founder of ordinals and maybe you deployed a rune, reach out to Raul if you want your holders to be able to stake their assets to earn more assets, and he'll get you set up. He's looking for more participants. So reach out to him. If you can't get through to him, reach out to us and we'll get you hooked up. And Merlin Chain, the #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin and native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1 and you want to scale out to a Layer 2, reach out to Merlin Chain's team. They have builder grants. A couple of our partners qualified for that. They have great builder support there. We've seen it firsthand. And if you're a retail user and you want to be able to swap, wrap BTC to Doggo to the Moon or wrap BTC to the Bitmap token, you can do so on merlinswap.org. And then also, guys, our integrated partners, if you wouldn't mind checking out Foxy, which is building the metaverse of Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and Ordinal Hive, which is an aggregator Ordinal marketplace on Layer 1 and Merlin Layer 2, which we appreciate you checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. If you guys wouldn't mind checking out ordinalrevolution.com with some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. Check out ordinalrevolution.com. If you guys need a VPN, we have the best VPN. We have Nord 70% off coupon. Check that out there. Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, guys, check that out. If you guys need tickets to that, do not pay full price. Do not wait till next year. Get your tickets as soon as possible. If you guys looking for merch, we have some of the best merch in all of Ordinals and crypto, in my opinion. Check out our store. We have hats, hoodies, jackets, and much more, and school bags as well. So check out everything at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, We are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. We appreciate you guys. Until tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Peace.
We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Rooms is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC4.